Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're keeping things pretty simple. I am actually unfortunately in the process of going through my wardrobe, thinning this out, taking out all of my long sleeves, my sweaters, my jackets, basically everything that I love the most out of my closet. I am having to remove, put in bins for storage because I live in Virginia and climate change currently has a chokehold on Virginia and the summers here are ugly. I sweat exceptionally profusely. You are going to hear nothing but complaining from me all through the summer. I am working hard on finding my non-binary summer style, but in the midst of going through, combing through, deciding and pulling, I thought I would take a little bit of time and share with y'all some of the brands that I really look for and really enjoy either thrifting and purchasing secondhand, that are brands that are ones that I can look for that really evoke my sense of personal style. I try really hard not to be like, oh, well, we like something just for the sake of it being a brand or just for the sake of it being vintage. I can sometimes get a little bit stuck in like, having to be some sort of niche. I'm whimsigoth, I'm 90s, I'm Y2K. Basically, I'm an amalgamation of what I wanted to wear in my young teen years. And for the most part, these are brands that I can look to, that I can test to for quality, for style, and just getting to showcase y'all some of the lovely pieces. Quite a few are sweaters and warmer things, hence the great sorrow of the turning of seasons. And while I do have examples that are secondhand, I also have ones that are strictly thrifted. I do try to differentiate from things that are purchased secondhand versus actually thrifted in the wild. But I love hearing myself talk, so without further ado, let's just get into talking about some of my favorite brands that I love scoring thrifting. And we can start out of the gate with a really strong one, which is definitely one that brings me so much joy, hype, and excitement when I'm finding it secondhand and thrifted. I haven't actually purchased anything secondhand via like Mercari. These are all thrifted, and that is going to be LL Bean. Now, I do realize that there's a part of me that really loves like the 90s Y2K that's very figure hugging and very youthful, but there's also a part of me that really likes casual but pulled together comfort, and LL Bean has a lot of great options for that department. They're just a very comfortable, a very well-crafted clothing brand. This is this beautiful 100% cotton. That's another thing that I really like about them, is while they also have a good amount of quality, they also use a lot of whole materials. This right here is one of my absolute just holy grail thrift finds from LL Bean. I actually had a corduroy shirt from them on my Mercari loves list that is like a teal aqua in a large, and this one is a medium. So glad I didn't get the large because this medium fits me exactly how I would want to. And this I got at my local Salvation Army for $5. It's 100% cotton. I've thrifted multiple LL Bean sweaters for my girlfriend that are 100% cotton, or they're 100% wool. Again, really that nice whole materials, looking for the quality in construction and quality in what they're made from. Kind of a little bit of a random one that I just picked up sort of on a whim. Now this is polyester with a bit of lycra and spandex to give it that nice stretch, but this is such a great, I love it over things, and it is so warm and nice, adds a little bit of something without being too over assuming. If you're looking for quality pieces, especially things when it comes to like sweaters and outerwear and things that you're going to be wearing when out and about, I've really come to rely on their quality. And it's something that you can find somewhat regularly at the thrift. I understand thrifting is only as good as your area you're in, but I've had a lot of luck with secondhand LL Bean, and it's one that I definitely get excited when I find it. It would not be a video talking about some of my favorite brands to thrift if I did not talk about that 90s icon Liz Claiborne, which I understand is like a hot, I mean, anything 90s Y2K is like, oh, it's so vintage, it's so amazing, it's so aesthetic. I mean, I agree, but I try to do so in a less like bougie elitist way. But some of my absolute favorite pieces are in fact from Liz Claiborne. All of these things that would have existed when I was a youth. The buttons, the color, the stripes. I have a picture on my Pinterest for styling myself like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer character, and Willow is wearing a sweater very similar to this, and this gives me all the vibes, all the feels. It is 100% cotton. Y'all know I live for that shit, and again, this is a brand, I feel like sometimes when we think about Y2K and 90s, we go very sexy, very skin tight, very Pinterest. And I also like just kind of the more practical everyday aspects of the 90s that you get through like just your bread and butter brands from that time, like Liz Claiborne. I mean, there are few words, just look, behold, amazing. I just truly love shopping secondhand for Liz Claiborne. Finding it out in the wild, just like finding anything out in the wild, is super exciting. I do really like the quality of the vintage pieces. And again, it's just that like true to style from the era. And I feel like a brand that you can purchase from for that time period, and it's very wearable while still being super iconic to that time period. It's a very authentic way of wearing it that I think holds more weight than like a lot of the revival stuff trying to mimic this. And I understand with the rise of reselling and with how much people are into secondhand and trying to be more sustainable, and with people trying to make their businesses out of it, people who do have businesses out of it, it makes it a lot harder to be able to find these sort of things. But definitely if you're wanting like a true to style, very just quintessential 90s, do not sleep on Liz Claiborne. You can find, while also in the thrift, secondhand, quite a few things by her that are in a friendly price point for vintage. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on all day, every day about, again, just these great, fantastic pieces that are just clothing from that period that looks so stylish, looks like a lot of the fast fashion and a lot of the things that are being mimicked today. But you all know I will advocate for secondhand. I will advocate for vintage. The material, the quality, even though as we get like further and further along, the less quality clothing that's going to be on the planet. And even though something may be vintage, it may not necessarily be the best quality, even though it qualifies as vintage. This is just an amazing, stunning example of something that can be found at the thrift that just looks so iconic to the time. I'll do a little spoiler here for styling content coming up, but like, I just absolutely everything to me. This one is a bit of a newer item. This is Liz Claiborne Sport, so I'm not entirely sure when that was done, but just a nice, wonderful 100% cotton, but 100% cotton without being disgustingly thin, because I will tell you, A good example is like Walmart. Go into Walmart and they have some stuff that's like 100% cotton, recycled polyester. But even though it's 100% cotton, it is not the same cotton that is used for this nice, thicker, but still just absolute classic, amazing, and wonderful. A really fantastic brand that I just love, not only just for aesthetics, but the practicality of the clothing as well. Next up is one of my absolute favorites, not just for the look, but also for some of the materials used. As you all know, I am a big proponent for whole materials. I also like partial blends. Like if I have to get polyester, if I have to get acrylic, I at least like it to be combined with something whole, like cotton, wool, linen, silk, those sorts of things. And one of my absolute favorite sweaters from Dress Barn, of all places, honestly, a store that at the time when I was younger would never have thought to purchase from there, but it is one of my favorite brands to purchase from. It is just this right here. I am living my Willow dreams. I feel so amazing in this sweater. It's like this confetti. It's got multiple different colors in here, and it's 97% acrylic and 3% silk, which acrylic in my mind is better than polyester, and it's only a little bit of silk, but still being able to find those pieces that have a bit more complex mixture of materials is a really good way to look for quality within any brand, honestly. And I cannot go off enough on how just wonderfully quintessential so many of these are. I mean, just absolute perfection. And while this one isn't like insane, I think it is 55% Ramie and 45% cotton, which I do like Ramie. That is better than polyester. And one trick when thrifting, no matter what brand, is definitely brushing up on your materials knowledge. That's something I still need to do so that I can actually know what my clothing is made of and knowing what is a quality material. And while this may not be like, ooh, crazy, like 80s, 70s, or however amazing quality vintage from however many years ago, this is still a fantastic far cry from so much of the clothing and so much expensive clothing that is being produced today. And they go so hard, so hard. I mean, I never shopped at Dress Barn at any point in my life, but holy heck'em, is it one of my, I mean, there are little words to just the corduroy and all the beautiful, just like this, just take me out now. I found this corduroy jacket at my Salvation Army. I found this gorgeous tank top here. It's just got such a nice little extra, the colors, the pattern. It just, I feel, screams like 90s, early 2000s without being campy. It's very wearable, which, while I do love my like balls to the walls, crazy style to the gods, I also like looking how I like to look in a more casual way at times. And this, actually found this one at Goodwill with my mom very recently, and it's a large, which I'm usually like a small medium, and I was like, oh, it's not gonna fit. And I tried it on, and heavens to Betsy, it fit. It just, again, all the wonderful details. If you like kind of like a trendy 90s Y2K, I would definitely recommend. Also, another brand that you can see in thrift stores. I wanted to talk about brands that, while also being available on the secondhand market, things that I've also been able to physically get at the thrift. Dress Barn is just so up there for me. And another one I need to talk about, which, finding out when you're thrifting and after you've thrifted for a while and accumulating your style, I kind of went through and was like, you know, there are some brands that I know I like and I know I have purchased a lot from, but then looking and seeing the ones that I've purchased a lot from secondhand, specifically at thrift stores that pop up in my brain, one of which being Croft and Borrow, which I know very little to nothing about their actual first-hand production. Where you bought them, I think that might be like a Kohl's brand, but they have so many cool and different pieces like this sweater here. I've already worn this in a video. I love this so freaking much. This was an amazing Goodwill find. My mom actually, when I got it, she's like, that's a pretty sweater. And I'm like, I know, it's mine. This one here, it's like this chenille knit, which was real big. This like chenille fluffy material, very big in the 90s. It's got like little specks of black and brown. And it does have like that tag there and then a different kind of tag like that. Hopefully in my thrifting, secondhand and vintage, whatever, I'll be able to have more smarts about identifying tags. You all know I am obsessed with my cardigans. This one is just so fantastic. I think this is the one that every time, or at least one of these ones, every time I wear it, my girlfriend's like, I love that. And I say it every time you wear it. And I'm like, well, it's true every time. But while also having like cardigans, like here we go. This one's definitely a much older tag, I feel. But then you've got this crazy, amazing top. I mean, just the brown, the swirly, the cream. Again, it's really from the eras that I draw so much inspiration from, that were, you know, the things that are around when I was young and absorbing through osmosis, while just being practical and wearable and still extreme, like this with a pair of jeans and this and just a nice Coach bag. Absolute perfection to me. This beautiful one right here, I mean, just the thick chunky buttons, the nice kind of, it's not really a peplum, but it kind of gives that illusion of a pulled in waist and being like a cardigan, but you can also wear it as a top. Just, again, I love the quality. So much of their stuff is 100% cotton, which is what I live for in a sweater material. And I would be, I know I've shown a lot, but I would just be ill whatever if I did not show you guys this one. Found at my local Salvation Army, and be like this, when you find something out at the thrift that you would like pay online like $30 for, and you find it out and about, it is just, I posted this on my Instagram, just the perfect shade of green, the brown wooden buttons, the leaves. I've gotten compliments wearing this sweater at work. My girlfriend loves it. My girlfriend's mom loves it. I love it. And this one is also, while they also do the 100% cotton, this one is 50% Ramie, 33% acrylic, 16% silk, and one other fiber exclusive of decoration. If you are a cardigan person, and honestly, I would love to purchase more from Croft and Barrow out in the wild, just because it's, again, one of those ones that I see it and I'm like, that's got my aesthetic, it's got my style, it's got some of the quality that I like, it's got more complex material composition, simply ticks a lot of the boxes for me. Another big one that I go for, and this is really for a lot of outerwear, I'm not sure what they do, I know they do outerwear, but that is Land's End. This coat here was one of the best $7 I spent in 2024, as well as this one here. Just absolutely great quality. Everything, I've got other things, but it's an assortment of put away other things. I didn't pull out too many options for Land's End, but really all the outerwear that I've purchased secondhand, I mean, it's all secondhand, but all the outerwear that I have thrifted from Land's End has been really good, solid quality. I actually did and test washed, wanted to make sure that I'm washing my clothes the way that they're supposed to be so they don't fall apart. And so many of my Lands' End outerwear is just been honestly like that corduroy jacket. I have another one, this big old one right here, which is basically the same thing as that corduroy one, except it's in like this khaki canvas with the beautiful corduroy collar. And Land's End is definitely one of those ones that I have seen out and about in the thrift. If it's not my size, if it's not my whatever, I don't bring it in, but I've seen a pretty good amount of that in the thrift at Salvation Army, at Goodwill. It pops up, and I'm always excited when I find something in my size that's in my style, because again, these are things that I really am able to look for style-wise, but also things that are of quality that I feel good enough bringing into my wardrobe. I wanted to mention a bag brand that I like finding secondhand and thrifting. I wasn't sure what to do. One of my favorite vintage brands to purchase is Coach, but that has been mainly like secondhand, Mercari, Poshmark, eBay, that sort of thing. Because with the insurgence of thrifting being popular and everything, it can be really hard to find those. Like, even though it's a good price, a better price than like firsthand, doesn't mean it's necessarily worth it, even if it is a better price, if that makes sense. But I have had a lot of luck with Dooney and Bourke, which is one of my favorite handbag brands, because for the price point and what you can get secondhand, they have some gorgeous leather. Obviously, I love the more vintage, the better. Love this handbag. It's got all kinds of amazing whatevers. I scored this at my local food bank thrift store for $30, which is, although I feel like 30 when in taking into consideration and people wanting to thrift because it's less expensive, is fairly a lot of money. It is also a comparable price, competitive to what you can find Dooney and Bourke for on secondhand retail sites. If you're able to find Dooney and Bourke all-weather leather handbags when you're thrifting, that is a fantastic thing to get if you're looking for a high quality leather good handbag. I adore my mulberry, and I feel like some of the vintage Dooney and Bourke I have has leather that is comparable to mulberry, and mulberry is a, although while apparently not considered luxury in like the handbag subreddit, it is a higher, pricier, much more overpriced brand. But Dooney and Bourke has some really great quality. And even if you're just shopping secondhand and you're not specifically out thrifting, still highly recommend looking into seeing what's available, because just the quality of what you can get for how much you can pay for it secondhand is definitely all there with Dooney and Bourke. I have some others that I could talk about. I mean, I could honestly talk all day, every day. That's why I have this channel, so I can just sit here and talk about all of my likes and interests in clothes. But this video has gone on for quite a while now. If you'd be interested in hearing me talk about more brands that are things that I like when I'm thrifting or shopping secondhand, I really wanted this to be not just about like favorite brands, but things specifically that I can find when I'm looking for, and that I have found and have had success when thrifting in person. Like I said, I do try to be pretty transparent between what's thrifted and what's secondhand, because it's just, I feel like there isn't enough differentiation, and people are like, look at this thing that I thrifted, and I'm like, no, that was secondhand and it was curated and it was definitely not thrifted price. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some inspiration to go thrifting, maybe found some inspiration about your style, about some brands that are out there and that exist that you can look for and use as reference. For me, you know, brand name, while it does have, you know, I like it because of it's a certain brand, I also think it's important to look at brands as just reference and realize that, strictly speaking, every brand is a name brand because it's a name and it's a brand. Just pay attention to what you love, what you see reoccurring with your own style and purchasing tendencies, and make references between what naturally comes into your wardrobe. But thank you all so much for watching. I love you. And as always, keep it real. Mwah!